So again, we mentioned, sophomore year is when they really brought cross country to your high school program. Prior to that, you're playing other sports. What was it at that time that really opened your eyes about cross country versus what you were doing prior to that? Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great for me.
Well, you know what, Chris, in prior to that, we would go out, a group of us, and we baseball, and we play a pickup game sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Um, we, when I was even younger, they had our school, the Reynolds School, middle school. We had a summer phys ed program, and you could take part in different activities there, and we would run races around the school because
Mm-hmm.
kids are always running. If you take a look at kids, they're always moving,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that energy. And I was someone who needed to put my energy to good use, and so I found that. But the good thing in particular was not only Coach O'Rourke at Newington High School, but my brother Charlie, who's a year older than me, and our best friend Jason Kehoe. He joined us, and we knew each other since childhood. So it's like you're already out there with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there with your friends, there's no pressure, and it should be that way, but the sports world does have pressure sooner or later.
So it's basically, a smaller group of people can kind of hang out and run. You don't have to worry about hitting a ball through somebody's window. You don't need equipment. You just go running, right?
You just go running. I have
Yeah.
no idea what shoes I was wearing then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and but we would run around the school, and there was a dirt path, and sometimes we would do pickups on the path. And later he started to time us with a stopwatch, handheld stopwatch, like one held by Paavo Nurmi from 1910 or something. Excuse me. And but also our track was in a grass field, and it was 5 laps to the mile,
Okay.
and so it was very different from the modern era tracks today. Our sport keeps changing. The shoes have gotten better and better and better. The tracks are better and better. The knowledge of training is better and better. The coaches, there's more and more really knowledgeable coaches.
And
So our
that's all of that is true, which I find to be so makes you even more impressive to me because you still hold a bunch of American records.
I do hold some records, some on the track. The reason why, Chris, there's no money in them.
But again though, this doesn't stop. There's always going to be runners, right? And you just admitted that equipment is better, the tracks are better, the athletes are better, but yet you still hold these records. So, I mean, that's incredible stuff, man.
I set some American records for the 1 hour run at Boston University. The track has now been demolished.
Yeah.
The track's gone, but I still do own the 1 hour run, the 15K, the 20K, and on the 25K. And so I was into track too, to a degree.
Yeah.
I wasn't quick. I wasn't one of these fast young high school kids. And I found that out one day when I was on our relay team. And excuse me, our team had the lead. And I took the last baton, and this young freshman from the other team went by me like I was standing still. And I didn't understand why. I'm a pretty good 2 mile, but why did this kid running 200 yards leave me like I'm standing still? I didn't understand that we have two different muscle types: fast twitch and slow twitch. Fast twitch is football, basketball, baseball,
Yeah.
but marathon, slow twitch. But sometimes you can have a combo. Some top runners really have a
Yeah.
combo.
I was going to ask that because it would seem like I don't know much about what you're talking about, but it would seem like in a marathon type situation, you kind of have to do kick it into a different gear at some point, right? Like if you're in a more competitive style race, like a Boston Marathon or something like that, and you're coming down to the last mile, if you're have another runner close to you, you have to kick it into fast twitch, don't you?
You do, and particularly in the marathon, it's a tricky thing. One year I had gotten into the lead in Boston in 1978, and I made my move coming down out of Wellesley down a big hill, and because I knew the course.
Yeah.
Once you know the course, you get a lot of you got an edge and confidence. And I had run Boston 3 or 4 times already. And I'm trying to break away. And then with about a mile to go, a motorcycle cop is pacing me in and he says, Bill, someone's moving up on you.
Wow, so you paid off the cops, Bill.
Yeah, I didn't pay him, but you know what I mean. He
We
just gave
found the
me,
truth today. We found the truth.
yeah, it is kind of a secret story. And because it was one of your fellow Texans, Chris, who was moving up on me, a fellow who was on the U.S. team in world cross country, and I had run with him, and he beat me in world cross country. His name was Jeff Wells, and he went to Rice University. Anyway, he was flying over the last mile, and I just edged him by 2 seconds at the end.
Wow.
Over the length of a marathon, that isn't much, you
No, no, no.
know.
I know, and so you know, or when you're running these races, you know who's close and who isn't.
Yes, you know, the thing is, Chris, back in '78, this is before the sport went really professional
Right,
and where they had a sponsor who would come in and make sure that, you know, that the crowds were protected. Like if you ever watch the Tour de France, you see these cyclists going narrowly through these bands of people
right.
and they're trying to find their way through. And at Boston, it was just like that. You know, you'd be coming down out of Cleveland Circle, 22 miles. There'd be people on bikes whizzing by, and the cops were on horses. It was kind of a wild scene. It was like the Tour de France, you know. But you just had to keep your focus. And the crowds at Boston, of course, are phenomenal because they
Right.
know this event. It's so old.
And so, do
So
you
that's
do
how
you
much
have spotters along the way that are telling you things like what's coming up ahead, what's going on behind you? Like, do you have that information being fed to you?
No, but sometimes people would yell me something.
Okay.
You know, they'd yell me something. People would get me water or something. My brother Charlie would come out with a glass of water. My coach Billy Squires would have a glass of water. You know, things like that. But basically, you're supposed to be on your own.
Right.
This is the marathon. You know,
Yeah,
and
unless you pay off the cops, right, Bill?
unless you pay off the cops, that's right. That's right.
Uh, reading about you in the mid '70s, there was nobody better than you. I mean, let's be honest. In the mid '70s, there was nobody better than you. For example, just to let my viewers know out there, 1978, Bill Rodgers entered 30 races and won 27 of them. That is ridiculous.
You know, I think I was very lucky in that I had that run at a time. I had a great coach. We all did, Coach Billy Squires. Other runners came in and they passed me and beat me because this is just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing. There's always new talent coming up. You know, my young friend at the time, Alberto Salazar from Wayland, Massachusetts, he was 16 when he joined the Greater Boston Track Club. Well, some years later, he and I dueled at the New York City Marathon and he beat me, you know, but we were friends. At the end of this sport, it's like golf. You shake hands.
Right. Right.